Eden by obsessmuch. Read by SsjDeBusk. I don't own Harry Potter or Eden. Harry Potter is owned and written by J.K. Rowling and the WB, and Eden is written by obsessmuch on fanfiction.net. Chapter 31. Guilty as Sin. Shit's getting hardcore. I feel that tension building, the hesitation in the eyes of the beholder. It's gonna fucking happen. Okay, I don't know what's gonna fucking happen. I don't even know what I'm saying. Oh, I remember the chapter this is. Oh, I like chapter 31. I just said that about the last chapter. I like all of these chapters in here. I like this whole part. I don't like the first, 10 chapters, if that helps. Anyways. Because you were so good and pure, he bought you with his ring. The neighbors called you good and pure. Call me the outcast thing. Even so I sit and howl in dust, you sit in gold and sing. Now which of us has tenderer heart? You had the stronger wing. Christina Rossetti, Cousin Kate. Will you love her, comfort her, honor and protect her, and forsake all others, be faithful to her as long as you both shall live? Answer questions no. No, I won't. Thank you. It's a Christian ceremony. I very much doubt that two wizards would be a part of that, but I don't really know anything about that. Right. I don't even know. Mudblood! I know you're in! Get out here now! I clutch hard at the cloth in my head, in my hand, my fingernails almost tearing into it, gritting my teeth against the flare of temper in my chest. What the hell does she want? I thought. I hope that she didn't know I was in here at all. I don't want to go in there. Just facing Bellatrix on her own is bad enough, but I think she's got Draco with her. I thought I heard his voice when I came in. The first time I faced, like that inner thought thing, I was like, I'm just gonna read this, I don't really care. The first time I faced them on their own. No, it's alright. Bellatrix can't remember that. What happened that night. And Draco. Oh, God, Draco. But I don't think they're on their own anyways. There's someone else with them too, I think, but I don't know who it is. They're keeping their voices down, whoever they are. They're keeping their voice down, whoever they are. I just hope for God it's not Avery. I wish Lucius were here. I wish he had stayed with me instead of leaving me here to my chores alone. But then, I suppose he must have things to do. Can't put his life on hold just for me, can he? Kenny, you've done the same for him. Mudblood! I staggered to my feet, almost tripping over my robes as I stumbled across the room. I'm not to give her an excuse to punish me. I refuse. She won't punish you properly. Lucius won't let her. But then, isn't that all part of the problem? Isn't that why she started hating me in the first place? When she realized that Lucius didn't like it when I was hurt by anyone but himself? I paused when I reached the doorway, taking a deep breath before I fixed my gaze on the floor and pushed the door open. A crack of pain snaps down my spine as I enter the room. I gulp down my instinctive reaction and keep on walking. Oh! So you're ready to join us now, are you? Bellatrix drawls. I am sorry if we're intruding your busy schedule. I keep my eyes steadfastly on the floor, concentrating on the pattern of the paving stones. If I can just get through this, then perhaps I can go back to my room and wait patiently for Lucius to come and give me a reason to carry on living this pitiful existence. This pitiful excuse for an existence, excuse me. Don't you have anything to say, Mudblood? She says, a hard, slightly hysterical edge to her voice. Oh, I will make you suffer, bitch. You bitch, you just wait. I'm sorry, I mumbled, hating myself. If I were feeling very stupid, I would tell her I would tell her that she cared all the I would tell her that she herself caused all of her suspicions about me and Lucius to come true. After all, if she hadn't slashed my wrist. I've knocked over my wine glass, Granger, Draco says icily. Clean it up. Now. I clench my hands up tight, so tight, my nails threaten to pop through the skin on my palms. So she's still here, then? Oh, God. Oh, shit. I recognize that voice now. I've only heard it a couple of times before, but how could I have ever forgotten it? I look up and I see her, sitting next to her sister, completely opposite in look and bearing. She's perfectly manicured fingernails resting idly on the crystal glassware as she looked down at her tiny, perfect nose at me, her perfectly shaped lips curled up into a sneer. Yes, unfortunately, Bellatrix says, and I chance to look at her, only to be rewarded with a hateful glare. It seems that mud is awfully difficult to shift. Draco snorts a laugh, but his mother just surveys me coolly. Indeed, she says softly. My smile fades from Draco's face as he looks at his mother before he turns to me, giving me one of the filthiest looks I've ever received. I feel like absolute shit. Narcissa Malfoy might be a snobby, high society, pureblood supremacist, but she's never done anything to me. Not directly, anyways. I've been sleeping with her husband. Bellatrix is staring at me. Do what you're told, you little lazy maggot! She hisses, what? Oh, yes, the wine. I hastily walk over to the table. I have to use the cloth I was using for the floor, I suppose. What else would they expect me to use? The skirt of my robe? Bellatrix turns to Narcissa as I wipe the table down, talking to her about something called Amelia Knott. Someone called Amelia Knott, and just how much weight she's put on and how it's not surprising, really, after having 4 children. I almost said prodigies. I have no idea why I said that. And you must have heard that her husband's sleeping with Lillian Parkinson. And oh, yeah, that's right, because she's half his age. And then Fernando Knott's always was difficult to hold on. As Bellatrix remembers from the days before the First War, la la la. I drown it all out, letting the gossip wash over me. It's not important, none of it is. I just need to get this done so that I can get the hell out of here, away from Lucius, his perfect wife, and his bitter sister-in-law, and his angry son. Don't think I'm letting you off, Granger. My breath stops for a moment at that soft whisper. I flick my eyes up to see Draco staring at me murderously. I slide my eyes over to Bellatrix and Narcissa, who aren't listening to him. They're far too engrossed in their own conversation, thank God. I move my gaze back to the floor, back to the table, focusing on wiping the wine off of the dark polished wood. I mustn't listen to him. I won't. But like his father, he hates to be ignored. Did you hear me? He whispers, his voice barely audible. Don't think I've forgotten about what I saw. I'm going to make sure that you suffer for what you're trying to do. Bellatrix laughs loudly at something Narcissa says, muffling the sound of Draco's voice. Please, Draco, just leave it, I whisper desperately. His hand down by the side of him. Unseen by Bellatrix or Narcissa, he raises his wand slightly. Muffalano, he whispers. So now he can say what he wants, because neither Bellatrix nor Narcissa will be able to hear us. I'm trapped in a horrible, safe bubble of silence. Carry on cleaning the table, and don't look up at me. Draco drawls. I don't want either of them to know what I'm talking about. My aunt wouldn't approve. I don't want to make my mother suspicious. And I don't want to make my mother suspicious. I pause for a moment before rubbing down the table again, keeping my eyes on the grain of wood. I know what you're trying to do, he murmurs. Keep your eyes on the table. Don't look up at him, and don't listen. Did you hear me? He whispers under his breath. I know your little game, Granger, and I'm telling you to back off. I want to scream. I want to reel that little bastard and tell him exactly what's going on, but I don't. I need to keep control of myself. My father already cares about you for some God-known reason. I can see that. He mutters venomously. I'm warning you. Back off now, before things get any further. I swear, but if you try to steal my father from my mother, then I will make you regret it. I roll my gaze out to look at him just for a second. He's staring at me with hard eyes, every inch of his face etched over with disgust. My father's not weak, he whispers. He's the greatest man I know. He wouldn't be swayed into letting you go. He won't be swayed into letting you go. If you bat your eyelashes at him, you're a mudblood, in case you forgot. Which means that he'll never, ever touch you. I glare at him, taking deep breaths to calm my explosion of temper that bubbles in my chest. There's nothing going on, Draco, I say, the lie almost sticking in my throat. He narrows his eyes, his young face containing hundreds of years' worth of hate. Keep it that way, he says threateningly. Vene incantata. And with that I know the conversation is over. I stand up straight. Putting the damp cloth in my pocket of my robes, it immediately starts to soak through my skirt, coming into cold contact with bare skin that lies beneath. I look down at my feet. Will that be everything, miss? I say, almost choking on the last word. I won't look up from the floor. I won't look at her. I might be able to push myself to look at Bellatrix, but not her. How can I? Bellatrix gave me a delighted little giggle. Miss, is it now? She exclaims. Well, that at least makes a change from the usual title you preserve for me. I feel my face boil up with anger. I just want to leave. Why can't they just let me go? Oh dear, I hear Narcissa drawl softly. How unrefined muggles can be. I cringe inward. I feel so bloody unclothed and crude and limpish next to her. For God's sakes, just let me go. I can't deal with this. Bellatrix snorts a laugh. What else do you expect? What muggle did you ever hear that possessed any kind of good manner or good taste? That's rich coming from her. I am pleased to see, she drawls piteously, that after all the time Lucius has spent with her, she might finally have succeeded in teaching her some manners. I stand my head up to look at Bellatrix. She's just smiling at me. Smiling with me with mirthless, gloating triumph, because she might have forgotten what she did the night she slashed my wrist, and the night she saw me outside of Lucius's room. But she hadn't forgotten everything she suspected before that. Of course she hasn't. Shut up, you bitch, just shut up! I don't chance to look at Narcissa. I just look at the floor again, but nothing will shut Bellatrix up. Nothing. But then, it finally took him long enough. It certainly took him long enough. She goes on. God only knows how long he spent trying to teach you your place. Hours and hours he would spend. Yet it never seemed to be enough. She stops, her words trailing off into a tiny gasp. I look at her for a second.